Right now at the Timcast studio, there is a haze making it very difficult to breathe. And no joke, I can feel it even indoors. It is intense. You go outside, you can't even see that far. New York had it a lot worse. It's supposed to get a lot worse here. And the question now on everyone's mind is, what caused the wildfires? Could it be a natural phenomenon where a drought led to high propensity for wildfires, which then simultaneously ignited and spread this smoke and soot all across the eastern seaboard? Or is it a conspiracy? Multiple arsonists, hundreds of miles apart, timing their attack perfectly to ignite fires everywhere. Come on. Dude, there are people who think the wildfires were all simultaneously started at the exact same time. That's not true. It's not. I'm sorry. I don't know exactly what started it. The media says drought. I don't know if drought is actually true either. Everyone's speculating. But what I can say is it's likely not arson. It may be that there is some arson, but probably not all of it. Some of it might just be lightning strikes. I mean, for real, lightning strikes. There's a map that tracks lightning strikes showing a whole bunch of lightning strikes happening. Now, if you don't believe that, then you'd have to assume that the lightning tracker map that I have to show you is fabricated data to cover up the mass arson committed over several hundred miles all at the exact same time. My dudes, if it really was a conspiracy to start a bunch of wildfires to send smoke down to the US, or for whatever reason, why would they do it all at the exact same time? They would stagger it intentionally. No, what happens is a storm rolls through, there's tons of lightning strikes, and then you get a large number of fires. It's also true there is some arson. Fact. We have this story from LifeSite News. So let's break down what's going on as we all struggle to breathe in this cloud of smoke and soot. Media blames climate change for Canadian wildfires, despite arrest of multiple arsonists. They say while the mainstream media continues to point to climate change as the source of the wildfires, reports show that multiple people have been arrested in connection with dozens of intentionally set fires in the country. And that's true. It happens a lot. In the U.S., there were videos and news reports about political extremists starting fires. And then the media was like, is Antifa starting fires? No, they're not. They're not doing it. Okay, it wasn't really Trump who said that, but I just felt like doing that. But there were some. Ultimately, we don't know. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you the data, and then you can figure out what you think is happening for yourself. But I think it is silly to imagine that hundreds of miles apart, a whole bunch of people got together and they said at exactly 2 p.m., you are going to light these fires. And then they all were like, here we go. I just don't see that as being likely. If there was a large group of people, like it's because 140 fires, something like that. Are you saying that like hundreds of people coordinated this, traveled out and spread around Canada, and then all at the exact same time lit fires? I just don't see that as being probable. I guess the alternative conspiracy is space lasers, which I really, that's just not, no. Like, I mean, maybe there's some, it's based in reality at the very least. Lasers exist, but you would have to have such ridiculously powerful lasers to all fire at the same time and start all these fires. Just no, guys, come on. But let's talk about the potential for arson. LifeSite says, as wildfires continue to spread across Western and now Central and Eastern Canada, burning forest land and homes, the mainstream media continues to imply that climate change is the main culprit, despite a growing number of reports showing that arsonists have been arrested for allegedly setting dozens of fires. Several arsonists have been arrested in the past weeks in different provinces for lighting forest fires. People's Party of Canada leader Maxime Bernier tweeted, but the lying woke media and politicians keep repeating that global warming is the cause. The severe nature of the wildfires has caused Canadians to wonder why they have spread so rapidly, especially as many of the affected areas are not typically impacted by wildfires of this degree or at this time of year. In the past months, RCMP have arrested several arsonists who have been charged with lighting fires across several provinces, including Nova Scotia, Yukon, British Columbia, and Alberta. The motive behind lighting the fires is unclear. One Albertan, John Cook, has been arrested and charged with 10 counts of arson after setting a string of wildfires in and around Cold Lake, a hamlet near Edmonton. So this is true. We have the story from the Edmonton Journal, a reputable news source certified by NewsGuard 92%. 92.5. Cold Lake area man facing 10 arson charges after string of wildfires from May 4th. Now, the fires that we are dealing with started, I believe, on around June 1st. Now, the lightning strike map does not completely explain what's happening. In this video from Josh Kirkland, he says, on 6/2/23, satellite video shows all of the fires in southern Quebec, Canada, ignited at the exact same time. This is not correct. This is not correct. It's somewhat correct, but I want to clarify for you. So here's the video. I'll play it for you now. You can see he rewinds it, and the fires are all starting around the same time. Around. But here's the thing you need to understand about these satellite images. Look how quickly the clouds are moving. Okay. The fires may already be burning, and they may be burning hours apart from each other. But the wind patterns could shift and then push the air at the exact same time. I am not saying the fires definitively started at different times. I'm saying we just don't know. And you're looking at a time lapse here. See how quickly the clouds are moving? This is over a long period of time. The smoke is starting to spread. So it is possible that they started here. One fire starts, and now it's 2 or 3 hours later, another fire starts. Now it's another hour later, 2 more, 3 more fires begin starting. It looks like they're starting at the same time because it is a time lapse. Now, it is true. These fires all started around a similar time. I have for you this. This is blitzortung.org tracking lightning strikes. It is not definitive proof of anything, but something for you to consider. If I create a 24-hour loop on June 2nd, 2023, you see a wave of lightning strikes over here slamming Quebec. It is entirely possible. This is what's causing the fires. And I have to say, with the absence of evidence, the answer that makes the least amount of assumptions tends to be the correct one. I do not believe that a globalist cabal or Antifa or any group secretly got access to lightning strike data and fabricated it to create fake evidence that would explain why fires started. The simple answer is lightning strike, fires start. And there's way more lightning strikes than there are fires in this area. I am not saying I know for sure. According to, I'll come to this story in a minute. So I think I have the tweet here. Here we go. According to Robert Malone, he says, trust the mainstream media? I think not. The wildfires are not drought related, according to data from the Canadian government. Here's a screenshot of the drought conditions in Canada from the CA Department of Agriculture. The data show there is no extreme drought, no drought in Quebec. The record-breaking heat being reported are a few days of temperatures around 93 degrees. Yet climate change is being blamed for these fires. More propaganda? The yellow on the map is abnormally dry, not a drought. And you can see here in Quebec, not abnormally dry. Here's what I think. I think lightning strikes started this. It says as of April 30th, mind you, so it's been 2 months, but fair point, whatever. It's likely the lightning started this. It's likely that political individuals are exploiting this for political gain. That's it. Wildfires happen. These kinds of things happen. When we covered this last night, many people said we see this often when the fires blow smoke down. Nobody ever cares when it's on the West Coast or in Minnesota or North Dakota. But now that it's hitting New York, it's the apocalypse. And everyone's saying, why is it happening? It's not that it's happening now. It's that most people live here. So they're all reporting it. And then it affects our society and culture. And then we say, look, we're seeing it. Why is it happening? Here's a simple answer. Fires start. It negatively impacts us. People with political motives see an opportunity to exploit this for political gain. There you go. That seems to be it. In the story from CBS News, they say what's driving the fires, and they do mention that it's drought. They say, why are they out of control? How did the fires start? Dry, hot weather breeds more lightning. In a normal season, half of Canada's wildfires are started by lightning, but those fires account for more than 85% of wildfire destruction. The other half are human caused. That's actually amazing. They say in Quebec, for example, these fires were sparked by lightning, but officials in Alberta have said the cause of the fires is currently unknown. Elsewhere in the country, these fires have been human caused in various ways, from discarded cigarette butts to sparks from passing trains. I'm highlighting this to let you know, even CBS is saying humans do cause the fires. I don't think there's a grand conspiracy here. I think the fires likely were mostly lightning with some human activity from intentional to accidental. And I think Democrats and politicians are exploiting the fires for political gain. The real conspiracy, it's not a conspiracy, it's a standalone complex. One, you have many leftists who are cult-like, whose cult-like mentalities are like, the only explanation is climate change because that's all they do. They scream in my ears. If the only thing a person hears over and over and over again is climate change, they're going to attribute everything to climate change. Thus, they will exploit it. But then there are people who genuinely know it's probably just lightning and say, hey, doesn't matter. We're going to win anyway. Yeah, I don't play that game. Not interested. They say harsh weather conditions are fueling these fast spreading fires, making them extremely difficult to combat. The country is currently at National Preparedness Level 5, meaning Canada has fully committed all of its national resources to mobilize the fight against fires. Chris Stockdale, a wildland fire research officer with the Canadian Forest Service, told CBS News late last month that as part of the Level 5 declaration, international liaison officers from Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa are flying in to help fight the fires. Glad to hear it. Glad they're doing something. Biden said Wednesday, firefighters are coming from the U.S. We've deployed more than 600 U.S. firefighters, support personnel, and equipment to support Canada as they respond to record wildfires, events that are intensifying because of the climate crisis. You see, what Biden is doing there is like, hey, we're doing a good thing. Also, support us politically because our cult-like political ideology says so. Yeah, that's what I think is the reality here, to be completely honest. Not that someone started these fires intentionally, because these fires, I think they're hundreds of miles apart. What could do that? A coordinated network. Space lasers or lightning? Yeah, sorry, that's probably it. To be fair, however, we will highlight this story. There's before I get into the feminist firefighters set Banff ablaze, okay, we have this video. Poppy Star shared it saying arson causes fires. People in Canada say those fires are all started at the exact same time. P.S. Notice the color of the helicopter. In this video, you can see a helicopter flying and dropping what appears to be napalm or some kind of molten substance. And then you see a line of smoke emerging from the forest. Yeah. Yep. The idea here is that they're creating a burn line, a control line, so the fire can't go past it. You can watch videos of this. This is not unique. I am not saying I know exactly what they're doing or why they're doing it, but I've seen tons of videos where you've got farmers burning. I think they get like flamethrowers or something, but they actually burn a line of crops on purpose so the fire stops because it needs. So like imagine you have a field of wheat or something. The fire just sweeps across it. They put a burn line through, it gets to that point, and then it has nothing to spread because they already burned a line. You get it? I don't know if that's exactly what they're doing. It does appear that they're starting a fire, but just because we don't understand it doesn't mean we can say definitively what it is. I will highlight this, though. This is from May 6th. Feminist firefighters accidentally set Banff ablaze. Oh, no. A woman in training exchange program accidentally set Banff National Park ablaze after a prescribed burn went out of control. And they want you to sign up to get into greater details, but you get the point, okay? Do humans cause fires? They do. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes for malicious reasons, sometimes for noble reasons, and sometimes accidentally. A large cause of wildfires is like someone's got chains dragging from their car or something metal sparks something on the ground. It could be dry. It doesn't even have to be very dry for fires to start. That's why I always tell people, dude, seriously, be careful when you're going out in wooded areas. We've got a bonfire pit, and I'm very, very much like, dude, we only do this when it's wet out. Like right now, a lot of the grass is turning brown because we haven't had enough rain. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, which is good considering it's really hard to breathe. It's even bad indoors. And, but I'm always like, take the fire stuff seriously. We don't need to be starting fires if it's really dry because we don't want this stuff to burn down. And it happened like last year. It was very dry. The leaves had all fallen. There had been no precipitation of any kind, and it was dry and cold. And I'm like, I don't want to do a fire because something could float up in the air and then land and then light up some kindling and then boom, you got a forest fire. I am not interested in any of that. So we typically reserve, doing any kind of fire stuff for when we know it's wet out, when like it's discernibly wet. For the time being, here's what I can tell you. It sucks. It's hard to breathe. Okay. Not everything has to be a conspiracy. I don't know what even the conspiracy would be in this regard. Like, they're setting fires to harm the economy of the U.S. or something. Honestly, I don't know. So you tell me. I pulled up the videos. We track them down. We try and figure out what's going on. But Sometimes fires happen. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.